Hey there, all you plant boys and plant girls. Let's talk about spathiphyllums, also known as peace lilies. So, peace lilies are a very popular traditional houseplant. Um, this guy here is actually a variegated one. So you can see by these white marks on the foliage and this kind of marbling throughout the plant that it is variegated, so that's really cool. These guys do flower. Little fun fact, this guy doesn't have any flowers right now. It actually pushed out like 4 or 5 earlier this season. I should have filmed then. But this guy's pretty easy to care for. This is one of the few plants that is low light tolerant. However, I wouldn't really recommend putting it in low light. I would definitely say that you could do like a medium light condition. This guy gets bright indirect light. I wouldn't recommend giving this guy bright direct light. They could tolerate a few hours of sunlight here or there, maybe in the early morning or the late evening. However, I wouldn't recommend during like peak sunlight hours, like, you know, from 11 to 4 p.m., depending on where you're at. A little fun fact about these plants is that they are thirsty as hell. These guys use a ton of water. I'm not sure why that is. It's probably just the amount of foliage they have. They're such full, rich plants that they really require a lot of water. These guys are drama queens, and you will be able to tell very easily whenever these guys are in need of water. The foliage will droop quite a bit. You'll definitely be able to tell. You know, I would honestly, if you're new to the spathiphyllum, I would just not water it and just see how long it takes for that foliage to start to droop. Don't be alarmed. It's going to take probably a half a day to a full day, like 12 to 24 hours after you water it then for it to perk back up, but it will, as long as you don't let it go too far. But I would really let the foliage droop, kind of get a feel for your plant in that specific location with that sunlight condition and the soil that it's in, and see how long it takes for it to really dry out. I have this guy in a plastic pot, which is not really a bad choice considering how thirsty these guys are. You could put them in a terracotta pot, although you'd probably have to water them more often because terracotta wicks off so much of the moisture. However, I mean, you could put these guys in a ceramic pot too, and that would do great. The flowers are really pretty. They don't smell at all. I cut them off sometimes and put them into flower arrangements. They're really pretty. They don't last very long. But yeah, you could propagate this guy through division primarily. I would break up the root ball and then pull it apart. I wouldn't really recommend, I don't really think that, you know, you could really propagate this from a cutting or anything. I've never done that, at least. And you can see this guy will put out new growth pretty readily. You can see towards the center of the plant, this guy's a new leaf, and some more new leaves in the center here coming up. As for pests, I've never had any problems with these guys. They have a very thin leaf traditionally, very thin foliage, so you're going to want to really watch out for things like mealybugs and aphids, things that can scrape the leaf and possibly damage your foliage. But as for that, I've never had any pest problems with these guys. Really, the main points of this plant are give it plenty of water. Only water it whenever it needs it, of course, but you're going to notice that these are going to be one of the plants that you have to water more often than your other ones. Definitely. You'll definitely get a feel for that. But yeah, aside from that, that's all you really have to know about the spathiphyllum. Super easy houseplant to care for, very easy to find, traditional. You can find some really cool cultivars out there. I've had a silver streak spathiphyllum, I think is what it was called. It died. I don't know what I did wrong, but you know, it happens. But yeah, if you can get your hands on a variegated one, they're super nice to care for, super easy, very prolific. Just give them some good care and they will love you. Leave any comments down below or questions, whatever, I'll get back to you. Bye.